Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. So today I want to talk about 5 things that nobody ever tells you as a new teacher, and you definitely want to use them in your classroom because it's going to help your teaching method overall. So, thing number 1, you want to make sure that your students have pens or pencils in your class. So I don't know, depending on like what your standard is, and that's something that you should know. Like, I teach math. My students are not allowed to use pens, and that's very clear that they're not allowed to use pens. They have to only use pencils. So make sure that you have pencils saved up, like in your drawer, for your students that are going to either forget their pencils or don't have a pencil. Now here's the catch about the pencils. I used to use things as collateral. So I would say, okay, you're going to take my pencil and I'm going to take something of yours. Like, you want like keys or something, because they're not going to be able to leave their house without their keys. Now, at the end of the day, if you still have their keys and it's closer to 2:30 and they haven't come back to get it, make sure to go to the office and drop the keys off at the office and let the office know that you have their keys. But usually students don't forget their keys. Like, if it's someplace where you can like just hang it up as a reminder, like, hey, I have a pencil. So put like a little like pin somewhere, or I don't even know, some or a hook, and just hang it up. And they'll remember as they're leaving, because what that's going to do is, first of all, it's going to get them into the habit of bringing their pencil, because if you've ever taught middle school, you know the number one thing that you can go through really quickly is pencils. Then the second thing that's going to do is going to make them form a pattern of making sure that, you know what, I don't want to give up my stuff. Like, that takes out time from class, and I have to look at what I'm going to give Missy Live. But you know what? Here, just take the pencil. Okay. So that's thing number 1, and that will save you so much, because that's also a part of classroom management. Now you don't have students getting up to go and sharpen their pencils while you're in the middle of teaching your class, right? Now you don't have students that are getting up to go and hit another student outside the head just to tease them while they're going to sharpen their pencil. Okay, so that's thing number 1. Number 2 that nobody ever really tells you is that you want to make sure that you have some sort of activating assessments and some sort of end of class assessment. So the activating assessment, it could be called a do now or warm up. Make sure that you have one, and don't make it difficult on yourself. It doesn't need to be something that's over extensive. So what I suggest that you do is, instead of giving them like a sheet, an entire sheet, I would make like lesson plan and scaffold 5 good questions that, like, the number 1 is super easy. Like, everybody should be able to do that, because what that's going to do is it's going to activate them to pay attention. Like, oh, I can do that problem. If it's just multiplication, oh, that's all we have to do. And then as time goes on, but now they're already in their seats, they're working on something, and then as the problems get harder, they're going to get used to the fact that the problems are going to be harder. But at least you're going to have students that are like, oh, I know how to do that. Like, and that's the best place to start with them, what they know how to do. So you want question number 1 to be super easy, number 2 to be warming up, like they should be able to do it. You might have 1 or 2 that might have some questions. Number 3 should be exactly where the average of the class is. 4 and 5 can be more challenging problems. That's how you want to start doing like your activating lessons, because that is going to reflect it should reflect what they covered the day before, and you're going to see whether or not they understand it and if they make growth. Now, how you do that is you can either have them write it in their notebook. I suggest that you actually take like a little piece of paper like this big, you cut them up, and you pass it out, or you leave it like on the side. As they come in, they know to take one and start doing like the problem on the board. They sit down, they write down their assignment that's there. You collect it as they're taking out their homework or whatever, as you teach your lesson, and then you have them do their independent work. Now, we're going to talk about small group instructions later on, but while they're doing independent work, what you want to do is take those small pieces of paper and quickly just go through them. Like, number 1, you should be hitting number 1 like got it, because if you don't have a student that gets number 1, okay, you got to take that paper and put it to the side, because now you have to go and get that student and make sure that they understand how to do certain things. And so and that's how you begin to scaffold, making sure that you can reach those students That's differentiation. Okay, so then you keep doing that, and that can lead into small group instructions. Once you start learning who your students are, you can make heterogeneous groups or homogeneous groups. That all depends on you. Okay, so number three, I should say, that nobody ever really tells you when you're a new teacher: make sure that your students have a pass, that you know where they're going. I don't care if they don't have a pass system in the school, but make sure that they fill out a form and that says the time that they left, the time that they returned, and they have their pass with them. The pass can be anything that you want it to be. I don't know if the school's going to give you lanyards, but they need to always have a pass, because you definitely do not want to be called and say, you know, where is Joe Smith? And you're like, I don't know, I think he went to the bathroom or he was here. Make sure you keep that in line, okay? Number 4 that nobody ever really tells you when you're a new teacher. Number 4 would have to be: make sure that you work hard. Work hard at being a teacher for your first year, because once you work hard your first year, your second and third year are going to be a lot easier. I did have one teacher who told me that her second year was probably a little bit harder, but she was in special education. And the thing with special education, because I am, I was a special ed teacher, is that the wave of students the body of students that come in every year are different, and their needs are so different. So you really can't like help the type of students that you get. So you might have one year, and even this might be in a general ed classroom, because I've taught gen ed too, you might have one year where your students are really high, and then one year where they're average, and that's just the reality of it, you know. But it does get easier in terms of how to teach, how you teach, you know what to pay attention to as like the time goes on. The last thing I'm going to tell you, being a teacher, make sure to give yourself a lot of self-care. I swear, I think that is probably the most important thing that I could tell anybody about being a teacher. Teaching is a lot, and it's unfortunate that people don't understand the amount of work that goes into teaching. Like, I think sometimes they think we just kind of like pull lesson plans out of the air and just go up there and sing and dance. Like, no, it's definitely not like that. Like, you know, we have to grade papers, we have to go to like meetings after school, we have to take courses, and you know, we have all these lists of things that we have to do. Like, it's so much sometimes, but you do it out of the love of what you do. And I hope that you do actually love what you do, because I am passionate about what I do. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that my 5 tips for your first year really help. And if you like, please like, share, and subscribe. All right? Okay, guys, have a great day today. See you later.